I'm Poonam from Spoony Flakes, and this is the Spoony Flakes headquarters, aka my mum's kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make cute gingerbread families. For the recipe, check my blog under the blog title, The Cutest Gingerbread Men in the World, and you'll find the recipe. Have those made, cooled and ready, and then you can get on with decorating. So what you'll need today. Personally, I prefer disposable piping bags. I just think they're less hassle to make, easier to buy, cheaper to buy, and they're obviously biodegradable. So that's obviously a good option for you environmentalists out there. I use a jet black pen to dot in the eyes, the tiniest paintbrush I could find, poppy red food colouring, obviously to give it that Christmassy theme. You'll need a number 2 piping nozzle and a number 1 piping nozzle. You'll also need some sweets, some bits and bobs, which you can grab from any supermarket locally. Shouldn't cost you more than £1 or £2, and they look so pretty and pink, these ones are, but you can get them in all different colours depending on what your kids like or what you fancy or your colour theme. We'll also need royal icing. I've made mine out of egg whites, but you can also have a vegan friendly option which is made with water and confectionery sugar. Under this video I'll post the recipes for both the egg white version and the vegan and vegetarian friendly versions, so you can have just as much fun decorating as I will. You'll also need a little bit of water, which we're going to use to make the run-out icing, which I will show you throughout the rest of this video. So what you do here is you grab your number 2 piping nozzle. I prefer the number 2 piping nozzle because I think it's thick enough for the royal icing to come out nice and smoothly and seals off any particular part of clothing you draw on or pipe on particularly well. This is really good when you do the run-out icing, as I believe that it smooths it out perfectly and you don't get any dribble falling down the sides because it's been sealed off by the piped line that you initially do with the thick royal icing. So what you do here is you grab your disposable bag, like any other piping bag, snip off the edge and put it to recycle. Drop in the number 2 nozzle. Oh, not drop the number 2 nozzle, but drop it in. So pop that in there, pull it up so there's no holes and it's quite secure, like that. Once you've done that, open the bag out, mix the royal icing a bit, because as soon as the royal icing hits the air it actually crystallises. That's why we use royal icing for such decorating, because it means that it hardens quite quickly and we can just store them and put them away pretty quickly rather than having to wait around and let them dry. So what you do here is just grab a spoonful. I mean, with royal icing and gingerbread men, a little goes a long way. So you don't need too much. Also, the consistency of royal icing makes it quite difficult to push out when piping. And for that reason, you don't want to fill it too much because the pressure that your thumb will have to put on it will be quite difficult. Personally, I don't like to fill mine too much because I just find it really difficult to press out the royal icing out of the nozzle. Okay, so once you've done that, you close the piping bag, make sure it's airtight and keeping it quite tightly closed, but make sure it's comfortable for you. You fold one edge inside, fold the other edge the same way, and just keep folding into each other until you think it's comfortable. I fold it inwards so that none of the bits get in the way and none of the royal icing comes seeping out the top, like so. Make sure it's quite comfortable for you. Once you've done that, the piping gel should come out quite quickly. So I'm going to leave the piping bag there and we're going to get on with drawing the faces. Exciting! So now for the fun part, we get to give our little gingies some character. As I suggested earlier, the black pen is the best. It's comfortable to hold, easy to draw with, and the best way to give cute little eyes and a cute little smile. So what you do is you can give any kind of faces you want really, because you've got the pen and that gives you some leeway of how you draw and what kind of expressions you want to give them. Today I'm just going to do the casual smiley face, but you can obviously do anything you want and make them as crazy as you want and kind of personalise them to people you know, or just for the fun of it, make them angry and moody and make them like the little dwarfs or however you want. Particularly my favourite face is the little singing face. I just think she's adorable, so I'm going to do her. She's my little choir singer. How I do that is I do tiny little C's as the eyes. Like so. As though she's looking down, thinking about what she's singing. Now for the lips and the mouths. I'll just use the red food dye, edible food dye. Red obviously because lips are red, and obviously would also go with the Christmassy theme. All you need is literally a dab. The tiniest brush you can find would be perfect because it can make the smile small and cute and adorable and edible and everything else that's yummy and small. So draw the little spaces on. With the choir lady you need an open mouth like she's singing her lungs out. Just do a little circle. Just let these dry. It shouldn't take too long to dry. If you use a good food colour paste, not the liquid, it's quite a quick drying agent and it will stay and stick there for quite a long time. The vibrancy of the colour is also quite good, as you can see here. So now they've got the little faces, what we've got to do is we've got to get the piping bag back with us and start propping on the buttons and the clothes because we can't have little naked gingerbread men, can we? So let's do the simple one first. With the gingerbread men, we're just going to do 3 little buttons, keeping them adorable, cute, simple. They're going to be pretty easy to do and I'm sure you'll catch on to that quite quickly. What you have to do is make sure that the pressure is quite even, and how you do it, you anchor it, let go of the pressure and then pop it up so you don't get peaks on the buttons. If you get peaks, it's not really too much of a worry. All you do is get a damp brush and dab them over so they kind of melt over and seal into a nice pearly round finish. If you don't want to use the royal icing as the buttons, you can obviously do a blob of royal icing used as a glue or a cementing agent and prop on a little silver dragée or the silver decorating balls or anything edible, Smarties, any other bits or bobs that you wish to use. That's obviously your decision, once again following your colour scheme or whatever you wish to do, so it just depends on what you fancy, but this is my method of doing things. So how you hold the pie, hold it with your left hand here, just to keep it a bit steady. How I follow is I follow the little line from the bottom. Might make you laugh, but it's the best way to make sure it's quite straight. So as you know, the pressure's quite quick and it's coming out, so what you do is you anchor it, let go of the pressure and let go. Anchor it, push, let go of the pressure and pull up. Anchor it, let go of the pressure and pull up. For the little kids as well, you might not want the buttons as big, so you just hold the pressure for less time. Anchor it, let go of the pressure, lift up. Anchor it, let go of the pressure, lift up. Anchor it, let go of the pressure, lift. So now I'm going to show you the difficult part. The most difficult part is particularly the dresses. I mean, once you get the hang of how the royal icing works, you'll be perfect at it. But don't be discouraged if the first few don't work as perfectly as you want them to. Just keep going and I'm sure after a couple they'll be just as good. So what you have to do with the royal icing is you have to anchor it. So you prop a little pearly ball at the top and let the royal icing follow. A way of keeping the piping bag quite steady is propping your left hand onto the nozzle, almost like a guard, so it follows it. Hold the piping bag as comfortably as you wish to hold the piping bag. You can obviously make it tighter if you think there's a bit of air in there, or however you wish really. It's just a matter of comfort. That can't be taught. You'll just find out what your comfortable area is once you've had a go at it. So, as I said, you anchor it. So I'm going to make her a pretty little dress. So I anchor it at her shoulder and then raise it up and let the icing follow me. You try and keep the pressure quite even so that follows you. I'm going to keep it quite simple for you guys today. We'll do another few later as well, maybe show you other piping techniques on another video blog, so make sure you keep posted. And then you stop the anchor. That's come out a tiny bit messy, but obviously it's royal icing, it's still wet, so you can just clean it up however you wish. There you go, so she can have like a little strappy dress on, and we can close it off here. And there you go, that's a little dress. That's not the end of it. What we're going to do is we're going to let this dry and put some run out icing on this. So once this is dried, I'll show you how to do that. What we're going to do now is make the run out icing to give a nice glossy finish to our dresses. While the thick white royal icing is drying, what you do is you grab some royal icing, as I dyed with the poppy red food colouring. All you do is add a few drops of water at a time. As I said earlier, little goes a long way, and water and moisture with royal icing does go a long way, and it can get quite liquidy. In order to get the perfect consistency, just slowly add drop by drop, because you don't want to make it too liquidy and then you have to go through the hassle and the fuss of adding some confectionery sugar in it. What the consistency that you want is that when you scrape it, the scraped line kind of gets filled off quite quickly. So slowly, little bits at a time. So the consistency you want here is when you scrape the spoon, the bottom of the ramekin gets filled up quite quickly. That's when you know it's the perfect consistency to be run out icing. I mean, it will dry quickly as soon as the air crystallises it, and it will also maintain a nice glossy feel. There you go. I haven't put any nozzle in there, so there's no nozzle because there's no necessity for it to be neat or anything. You're literally just going to push a tiny bit out and it'll cover itself. It's like magic. So literally just snip the top off and you'll see that the pressure will just push it out. So here are the two dresses, all ready and dried, ready to be painted with the run out icing in the snipped piping bag. All you do is literally just push it out. Try and get close to the edges, but not too close because it's not that necessary. We'll basically use the tiny paper brush and brush it over. So there's no need to be neat here. There's no artistic touch or anything. Well, what I would suggest is to do one at a time. Sorry, I was getting a tiny bit ahead of myself there. So just prop it over. The beautiful thing about run out icing is it creates this layer that's just divine. It's this one glossy layer and it all maintains a perfect shape. It all stays beautifully. It will dry quite quickly and it tastes gorgeous because the outside gets quite hard but the inside still remains a bit gooey. There you go, and there you have it, the cute little families. So the mummies, the babies, and the daddies. Hopefully they live happily ever after, all because the mummy's singing. Now they're done, you can sit back with a latte and enjoy your gingerbread men, or you can prop them up on the tree, leave them for decorations, give them as gifts. Whatever you do, just make sure you have fun making them. You can send me your pictures, send me the fun that your kids had, some testimonials, and I'd love to hear exactly how it went.